Mayambu kurum jari. Breathing. Rediscovering the forgotten power within. Where science meets spirituality. Good morning, everyone. Today, I invite you to pause for a moment and simply take a breath. Feel the cool air as it enters your nose, fills your lungs, and leaves softly through your nostrils. In that one breath lies a secret so simple, so close, that we often overlook it, the secret of life itself. In our modern world, filled with constant noise, screens, and speed, we have become disconnected from our most natural rhythm, our breath. We rush through our days, breathe shallowly, and live in a constant state of doing, rarely remembering that being begins with breathing. Modern science now confirms what the ancient sages, monks, and healers of every tradition always knew. The quality of our breath determines the quality of our life. Through our breath, we can influence our heart, our mind, our immunity, even our consciousness itself. This lecture, Breathing, Rediscovering the Forgotten Power Within, will take you on a journey where modern neuroscience meets ancient spiritual insight. We will explore the science of the vagus nerve, the power of nasal breathing, the effects of chanting and humming on the brain, and the remarkable work of researchers and visionaries such as Dr. Sweeta Adatia, James Nestor, Wim Hof, and Jonathan and Andy Goldman. We will see how simple, conscious breathing, practiced with awareness, can transform not just our health, but the way we experience life, peace, and even enlightenment. Part 1. The Lost Art of Breathing. Every day, we breathe about 25,000 times. But how many of those breaths are we aware of? For most people, the answer is almost none. Modern humans, researchers tell us, are breathing incorrectly. Our faces have changed, narrower jaws, smaller airways, largely because of processed foods and sedentary lifestyles. We sit too much, slouch forward, and breathe through our mouths instead of our noses. We breathe too fast and too shallow, and as a result, we live in a near-constant state of stress. As author and science journalist James Nestor writes in his groundbreaking book Breath, no matter what we eat, how much we exercise, how resilient our genes are, if we're not breathing correctly, none of it matters. This is a powerful truth. Thousands of years ago, the yogis of India practiced pranayama, the expansion of life force through breath. In China, Taoist masters cultivated qi through breathing. In Christianity, the Holy Spirit itself was described as the breath of life. Every culture, every sacred text understood that the breath was not just air, it was life energy. Yet today, in our rush to modernity, we have forgotten this art. We breathe to survive, not to thrive. We live, as some scientists put it, in a state of hidden hypoxia, under-oxygenated, overstressed, under-aware. But there is good news. By returning to the way nature intended us to breathe, slowly, deeply, and consciously, we can reverse this modern imbalance. We can calm our nervous system, balance our emotions, strengthen our immunity, and reconnect to the inner peace that has never left us. Part 2. The Science of Breath and the Vagus Nerve. In recent decades, modern neuroscience has made remarkable discoveries about the link between breathing and the brain. At the heart of this connection lies a nerve that ancient yogis seem to intuitively understand, the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is the longest cranial nerve in the body, extending from the brainstem down through the lungs, heart, and digestive organs. It is the main communication highway of the parasympathetic nervous system, the system responsible for rest, repair, digestion, and healing. When the vagus nerve is active, our body shifts from fight or flight to rest and restore. This means that by consciously controlling our breath, we can directly influence our nervous system, something once thought impossible. Slow, deep breathing, especially through the nose and diaphragm, increases vagal tone. This has measurable effects. It slows the heart rate, lowers blood pressure, reduces inflammation, increases heart rate variability, or HRV, a marker of emotional and physical resilience. Researchers now use HRV to measure how well a person can adapt to stress. The higher your HRV, the calmer and more balanced your nervous system. And the most powerful natural way to increase HRV is not a drug, not a supplement. It is slow, mindful breathing. This discovery has given rise to what many scientists now call vagus nerve stimulation through breath. While medical devices can electrically stimulate the vagus nerve, we can do it naturally, anytime, anywhere, simply by breathing consciously. Every time you take a slow, gentle breath through your nose, extending your exhale, you are sending a message to your brain. You are safe. You can relax. You can heal. This is why all ancient breathing practices, from yogic pranayama to Buddhist meditation, emphasize lengthening the exhale. Modern studies at Harvard, Stanford, and other leading institutions now confirm that this simple act, prolonging your exhalation, activates the vagus nerve and immediately calms the amygdala, the brain's fear center. In a world that is perpetually in sympathetic overdrive, bombarded by notifications, deadlines, and information, this is nothing short of revolutionary. Breathing is not just a biological necessity, it is our built-in, no-cost, always available reset button. The vagus nerve is also intimately connected to our emotions. It communicates signals between the gut and the brain, shaping how we feel. That's why when you're anxious, you may feel it in your stomach, or when you're peaceful, your whole body feels light. Through breathing, you are literally speaking the language of your nervous system, turning anxiety into clarity, tension into ease. So, the science of breathing is not new. It is newly rediscovered, and it confirms a profound truth. We hold within us the power to regulate our minds and bodies, one conscious breath at a time. Part 3. The neuroscience of chanting and mind balance. Modern neuroscience is now catching up with what ancient mystics have practiced for millennia: the use of sound and vibration to heal and balance the brain. Neurologist Dr. Sweta Adartia explains that rhythmic chanting is not simply ritual, it's a neurophysiological tool. When we chant Om, Amen, Aum Mani Padme Hum, or even gentle humming, our breath slows naturally to about 5 or 6 cycles per minute, which is the same rhythm seen in heart-brain coherence. Imaging studies show that during chanting, the vagus nerve is stimulated through the vibration of the vocal cords. The limbic system, the emotional brain, becomes quiet. Brain waves shift from busy beta to calm alpha and theta states. The prefrontal cortex, the seat of attention and empathy, lights up. This means that through chanting, we are not just expressing devotion, we are restructuring the brain. Dr. Adartia describes it as balancing the hemispheres through sound. In practical terms, chanting strengthens focus, reduces anxiety, and improves mood, all while anchoring the mind in the present moment. Modern brainwave research from the University of Wisconsin has found that experienced meditators who use sound and breath together show bursts of gamma synchrony, the highest measurable brain frequency associated with compassion, clarity, and expanded awareness. In spiritual language, this is the mind in harmony with the heart. Part 4. Alternate nostril breathing. Balancing the brain. Among the many breathing practices in yoga, one stands out for its elegant simplicity: Nadi Shodhana, or alternate nostril breathing. It is the practice of inhaling through one nostril, exhaling through the other, and repeating the cycle. To the ancients, it purified the energy channels, or nadis. To modern neuroscience, it harmonizes the hemispheres of the brain. The left nostril connects predominantly to the right hemisphere, which governs creativity, intuition, and emotion. The right nostril connects to the left hemisphere, the domain of logic, analysis, and action. By breathing alternately, we bring both sides into synchrony, a process now visible on EEG scans as increased coherence between hemispheres. Dr. Adatia and other neuroyogic researchers call this neuroplastic breath training. Regular practice improves memory, attention, and emotional stability. It raises parasympathetic tone, lowers blood pressure, and prepares the brain for meditation. Students who practice it report sharper concentration. Patients report calmer moods. Seekers describe an inner equilibrium that feels like mental sunlight breaking through clouds. Science and spirituality agree. Balanced breath creates a balanced brain. Part 5. The Wim Hof Method, Modern Proof of Ancient Power. The modern rediscovery of breath mastery found an unlikely messenger in Wim Hof, known worldwide as the Iceman. Through deep cyclic breathing, cold exposure, and focused awareness, Hof demonstrated that the human mind can consciously influence physiology once considered automatic. At Radboud University in the Netherlands, scientists tested him and his students by injecting them with bacterial endotoxin. Astonishingly, they displayed minimal symptoms, no fever, little inflammation, and rapid recovery. Blood tests showed spikes in adrenaline and anti-inflammatory cytokines. For the first time, science documented voluntary control over the autonomic and immune systems. What actually happens during the Wim Hof breathing method? 1. 30 to 40 deep breaths flood the body with oxygen while lowering carbon dioxide levels. 2. The blood becomes temporarily more alkaline, decreasing pain sensitivity and sharpening focus. 3. Breath retention trains the body to tolerate low oxygen, building resilience. 4. The nervous system oscillates between sympathetic activation and parasympathetic recovery, a training in adaptability. EEG studies reveal that practitioners maintain calm alpha and theta waves even under extreme cold. Physiologically, they activate brown fat and mitochondria, improving metabolism and energy. Psychologically, they report heightened clarity and inner strength. Spiritually, they experience stillness amid challenge, the same essence taught by ancient pranayama masters. As Wim Hof himself says, feeling is understanding. You are the alchemist of your own chemistry. His method is the scientific echo of what yogis discovered in Himalayan caves centuries ago. Control the breath, and you control life force. Part 6. Breath, Mind, and Spirit, the Inner Bridge. Breathing is the only bodily function that is both voluntary and automatic. This makes it the perfect bridge between the conscious and subconscious, the physical and the spiritual. When you breathe consciously, you are literally re-educating your nervous system. Slow, rhythmic breathing lowers cortisol, increases serotonin and dopamine, and releases endorphins. It synchronizes the heart and brain, a state the HeartMath Institute calls heart-brain coherence. In that coherence, intuition rises, perception widens, and compassion naturally emerges. At the same time, fMRI studies from Yale and Harvard show that mindful breathing quiets the default mode network, the brain region associated with self-talk and ego. When this network settles, the sense of separateness softens. People report feelings of unity, peace, and deep presence. Science calls it integration. Mystics call it awakening. Part 7. Practical exercises for everyday life. The beauty of breathwork is that it costs nothing, requires no device, and can be practiced anywhere. Here are 5 foundational exercises that merge ancient wisdom and modern physiology. 1. Coherent breathing. Inhale through the nose for about 5.5 seconds. Exhale for 5.5 seconds. This entrains the heart and brain into a balanced rhythm, improving HRV and focus. 2. Diaphragmatic breathing. Place a hand on the belly, let it rise as you inhale and fall as you exhale. This engages the diaphragm fully and stimulates the vagus nerve, easing anxiety. 3. Alternate nostril breathing, Nadi Shodhana. Inhale left, exhale right. Inhale right, exhale left. Balances hemispheres and emotions. 5 minutes daily can reset mood and attention. 4. Chanting Om or a mantra. Inhale gently, then let the sound flow out until the breath ends. Feel vibration in the chest and skull. It is both sound therapy and nervous system massage. 5. Wim Hof cycles for trained individuals. 30 deep breaths, relaxed exhale, hold, then a full inhale and brief hold. Boosts immunity and energy. Practice seated and safely. Each of these practices is a key to the same door: balance. They can be woven into ordinary moments, before sleep, during stress, between meetings, to restore calm and clarity. Part 8. The humming effect, the healing sound. Within beyond words and formal chants, there is a universal sound we can all create: the hum. Sound healing researchers Jonathan and Andy Goldman call humming the simplest self-generated sonic therapy on the planet. It is effortless, soothing, and profoundly therapeutic. When we hum, the vibration travels through the throat, chest, and skull, directly stimulating branches of the vagus nerve. This gentle internal massage activates the parasympathetic system, slowing the heart rate, relaxing muscles, and signaling safety to the brain. Clinical observations show that only a few minutes of humming can lower blood pressure and cortisol while increasing heart rate variability, the marker of emotional resilience. Physiologists such as Dr. John Lundberg at the Karolinska Institute discovered that humming increases nitric oxide production in the nasal passages up to 15-fold. Nitric oxide expands blood vessels, enhances oxygen uptake, and even possesses antiviral and antibacterial qualities. Thus, humming becomes an immune-supportive and respiratory-enhancing practice, nature's built-in medicine. Neuroscientific studies also reveal that humming shifts brain activity from beta waves into alpha and theta rhythms, promoting calm focus and creativity. It gently stimulates the pineal gland, encouraging melatonin release and deeper sleep. Emotionally, the vibrations release endorphins and oxytocin, the chemistry of trust and joy. The Goldmans describe this as an inner sound massage that harmonizes the mind and heart. To practice, simply sit comfortably, close the lips, and exhale with a soft mmm. Feel the vibration in the chest and face. Continue for a few minutes, letting the sound lengthen naturally. This simple act combines breath, vibration, and awareness, a perfect, portable exercise for peace. Part 9. Healing in a sympathetic world. We live in a society that glorifies busyness, speed, and constant stimulation. Our bodies are locked in sympathetic overdrive, the fight-or-flight mode that never ends. This chronic activation drains immunity, disturbs digestion, and clouds the mind. Doctors now refer to this pattern as sympathetic dominance syndrome. The antidote is not outside us, it is in every breath we take. Each slow, mindful inhale and extended exhale is a natural vagus nerve stimulus, a signal of safety. Through breathing, humming, and gentle awareness, we can reclaim our parasympathetic state, the state of healing. In that moment, blood pressure drops, digestion resumes, and the mind clears. Peace is not something we chase, it is something we breathe into existence. Part 10. Conscious breathing and the path to enlightenment, where science meets spirit. After months or years of steady, conscious practice, breathwork begins to do more than calm the nerves. It transforms awareness itself. Neuroscientists studying advanced meditators, such as teams at Yale, Harvard, and the University of Wisconsin, report structural and functional changes in the brain, greater cortical thickness in attention areas, higher gamma synchrony, and a quieting of the default mode network responsible for self-referential thought. These changes correspond to experiences of unity, timelessness, and inner luminosity, what spiritual traditions have long called enlightenment. From a physiological view, this awakening is coherence made visible. The heart, brain, and breath fall into harmonic rhythm. Vagal tone is high. Nitric oxide levels balance oxygen delivery. Neurotransmitters such as serotonin and melatonin synchronize circadian cycles. The body becomes a finely tuned instrument of awareness. From a spiritual view, The boundary between the breather and the breath dissolves. The observer and the act of breathing merge into one seamless field of consciousness. The inhale becomes the receiving of life. The exhale becomes the giving back. In this symmetry, enlightenment is not a mysterious event, but a natural flowering of sustained presence. Thus, science and spirituality meet not in opposition, but in completion. Science explains the mechanism. Spirituality reveals the meaning. Both affirm that conscious breathing practiced with love and constancy can lead to the highest human potential, clarity, compassion, and communion with all life. Part 11. Integrating breath, light, and sound. When we combine all these discoveries, the slow rhythm of coherent breathing, the balance of alternate nostril flow, the power of chanting and humming, the vitality of Wim Hof breath, and the illumination of awareness, we create a complete practice for the modern age. Breath is the movement of energy. Light is its visible form. Sound is its vibration. Together, they awaken the full spectrum of human healing, physical, emotional, and spiritual. This is not philosophy. It is biology infused with consciousness. Part 12. Conclusion: the forgotten power within. So, dear friends, remember this. Every moment is an invitation to return to the breath. When life feels overwhelming, when the mind races or the heart aches, pause and breathe. Let the inhale remind you of the strength within. Let the exhale remind you to release what no longer serves. You do not need expensive equipment, long retreats, or special conditions. Your most powerful medicine is already within you, free, limitless, and ever-present. Through conscious breathing, you can calm your nervous system, uplift your mind, strengthen your body, and open the doorway to the sacred space inside. As you breathe consciously, you are contributing to a quieter, kinder world. Your calm becomes contagious. Your coherence becomes community. And when enough of us remember to breathe with awareness, humanity itself begins to heal. Closing invitation. If this message resonates with you, you are warmly invited to explore deeper experiences of breath, light, and sound at the Holistic Wellness Foundation, IMFAL, a place where modern neuroscience meets timeless wisdom. Here, we continue the journey of rediscovering the forgotten power within, guiding each person toward balance, vitality, and inner peace. Until then, keep breathing consciously. Breathe as though every breath is a prayer, a song, and a return home, because it is. Mayambu Amuk Hana Thagachari.